Good morning. This is Aisha Khalid, and this is today's Quiet Echo. She was 8 weeks along, and she had waited a very long time to be. We watched the screen together, the two of us, in the dim little room, while a small flicker on the monitor found its rhythm. One heartbeat, quick and certain, and filling the whole quiet room with its sound. She smiled. And then she said, almost to herself, I had half hoped for two. I have heard the wish before. She had come to this morning the hard way, through years, through needles, through more disappointment than she will ever tell most of the people in her life. And so, when the clinic finally called with good news, a part of her had pictured a matched set, 2 cribs, the whole thing accomplished at once. A kind of fullness to make up for the long lean wait. There is a particular hope in a person who has waited too long for one of something. It does not ask for moderation. I asked them for 2, she told me. They would only put 1 back. I did not rush to answer her. The wish is a real one, and it deserves a moment of its own before the medicine arrives to explain itself. There was a report on my desk last week, the kind of thing most people never see and would not read if they did. A decade ago, 34 of every 1,000 babies born in this country were twins. Last year, 30. The twin birth rate in America had been climbing for more than 3 decades. And then, very quietly, with no announcement at all, it turned, and it began to fall. If the headlines notice it, they will call it a decline. I am old enough in this work to remember what the climb looked like from the inside of an exam room. I remember the twin pregnancies of 15 years ago. I remember the early bed rest, the blood pressures I did not like the look of, the deliveries which came weeks, sometimes months, too soon. I remember a mother in a thin hospital gown, moving slowly between 2 incubators down a hospital hallway. She was allowed to lay one hand on each of her sons. She was not yet allowed to hold either one of them. Twins are a joy. Anyone who has held 2 at once will tell you so. But they are also, in plain and unsentimental medical terms, a harder and a riskier road for the mother, and for both of the babies on it. So let me tell you what actually changed. It was not the babies. What changed was us. For a long time, the fertility clinics would place 2 embryos, or even 3, hoping at least one of them would take hold, and accepting the gamble, quietly, when more than one of them did. But then the science of choosing got better. We learned how to look at a single, strong embryo and to trust it. And once we could do so, the old gamble simply stopped being worth running. So the doctors began, more and more, to put back just 1. The number on my desk is the result of all of this. And I want to say it plainly because it matters. Fewer twins is not a sadness hidden in the data. It is a danger which fewer families now have to walk through. I told some of this to the woman on my table, not as a lecture. She did not need a lecture. I told her as an answer to the real question, the one underneath her question, which was simply this: had she been given less than she asked for? She had not. She had been given the safer road, by people who had learned, across many years and more than a few hard nights, exactly which road the safer one was. The single embryo was not a smaller hope. It was the wiser one. I watched her take it in. I watched the picture she had been carrying, the 2 cribs, the matched set, loosen its hold on her, just a little. It is not a small thing to let go of a hope you had already named. And here is the part of my work almost no one ever claps for. A cancer caught early gets a story. A life saved on a table, in one dramatic hour, gets a story. But the danger which never arrives at all, it makes no sound. The early birth which did not happen. The tiny baby who did not spend his first month of life under warming lights. The mother who got to hold her child on the very first day, instead of on the 40th. None of it leaves a trace in anyone's memory. There is no ceremony for it. No one writes a card to thank a doctor for the emergency they never had to have. The mother does not lie awake at night, grateful for the long stay in intensive care she was spared, because she never even knew the danger had been standing there, waiting for her. It is the best work we do. And it is almost completely invisible, because the whole nature of it is to be the thing which did not happen. So I have come to believe something, after all these years. A number going down is not always a loss. Sometimes a falling number is a whole multitude of quiet dangers, each and every one of them, not run. It is safety. written in the strange language of subtraction. We looked at the screen together one more time, she and I, before she gathered her things to go. One heartbeat, still there, still going, strong and unhurried, and entirely enough. I have delivered enough babies in my life, and I have sat with enough grief to have finally stopped ranking miracles by their size. I told her it was the safest sound I know. Cedar Valley News has a group on Facebook. If you have something to add, you are welcome there. Tell us about a quiet good outcome in your own family, the trouble which, looking back, never came. I will put the link in the show notes. This is Aisha Khalid, your host for today's Quiet Echo. Thanks for listening. Quiet Echo is part of the fictional Cedar Valley News series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people and town of Cedar Valley are fictional, the decline in the United States twin birth rate spoken of here, from about 34 twins per 1,000 births a decade ago to 30 last year, is real, reported by the National Center for Health Statistics.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open. This is Cedar Valley News.